Ready to head back to school? No? Yeah, school sucks, but don't worry, we've got a few apps to help you make it through the coming year and get your A's, or B's, or D's. Hey, it's passing.
This episode of App Judgment is brought to you by the National Fight Against Drunk Driving. Over the limit, under arrest. Who wants to spend Labor Day in jail?
Welcome to App Judgment. My name is Annie Gauss. School is back in sesh. You've probably figured out that your iPhone or iPod Touch can be an awesome way to waste time, but with the right apps, your phone can also help you kick ass in your classes, budget your time effectively, and maximize the quality time you spend on more important things like your Xbox. First up, school is hectic, and you got to manage your schedule. Let's take a look at iStudies with a Z. iStudies is basically a calendar application specifically designed for students. In the Planner tab, you can view and add the courses you're currently taking. That way, they show up every week if it's a repeating class. In the Assignments tab, you add your assignments, first choosing what course it's for, then adding the assignment details, including due date, priority, and a partner you're working on it with, which you can choose from your contacts or create a new one. Once you finish the assignment, you can tap a little dot and it goes away. How satisfying. What I like about this app is that it automatically grabs events from other calendar apps you may have on your phone. Obviously, you've got other stuff going on besides classes, whether it be work, hanging out with friends, whatever, and you'll see that those will automatically show up on your calendar in red, so even if you use other calendar apps, this one can be your go-to. Very convenient. All right, so getting your schedule in shape is half the battle, but what about when you have to actually, crack a book? We're all super responsible and do all our assignments and reading well in advance, right? No. You need an app that lets you study where you probably do most of your studying, i.e. on your way to class. Cram is a $4 application for the iPhone and iPod Touch that basically works as a set of virtual flashcards wherever you go. It pairs with a paid service that you can download for Mac for $30. If you do so, you can create tests on the site to share with your classmates, as well as use a bunch of different modes to help you study. Used on its own, Cram the app will let you import those tests if you choose to make them, or grab a bunch of free tests on a wide range of different subjects. Since most of the time tests in school are pretty specific, the generic tests might not be helpful in certain subjects. However, I could definitely see this being useful in classes like AP American History or for tests like the GRE or SAT that are more standardized. What's missing in this window is the ability to search for a test on the subjects. There are an impressive range and variety of tests available to import, but it involves a lot of scrolling. If you really want to commit to acing your tests, creating additional tests still sounds like a lot of work to me. But if you're in for a lot of concerted cramming for one or two particular big ones, I could definitely see Cram coming in handy. All right, so we've covered tests, but what about you English major types who spend most of your lives writing papers? I've got a couple more for you in a sec, but first let's thank our sponsor.
Far too many people do not understand that alcohol, drugs, and driving do not mix. The message is simple, guys. Drinking and driving, over the limit, under arrest. And don't put yourself or others in danger. Law enforcement officials will be out in force all over the country from August 25th through September 6th, cracking down on drunk drivers. Beyond putting your life at risk, you could cost yourself a bundle of time and money. Jail time, the loss of your driver's license, higher insurance rates, and dozens of other unanticipated expenses from attorney fees. Other fines and court costs, car towing and repairs, lost time at work, it just goes on and on. The worst and best part of drinking and driving is that it can be avoided so easily. You can still go out and have fun, just plan ahead. If you're gonna drink, designate a driver, call a taxi, use mass transit, or find some kind of sober ride program. Personally, I just use the Muni app here in San Francisco that tells me when the next Muni train is coming. No need to drive, I just time it out perfectly so I can just jump on the train and head back home. Don't drink and drive, people.
Okay, like many of you out there, I'm completely hooked on Dropbox, the file syncing and sharing service that I can barely remember life without. In case you're not familiar, Dropbox is a cloud-based service that lets you access the files you drop into it anywhere. One of those simple, well-executed ideas that ended up making a huge splash. And Dropbox is a perfectly good app of its own that lets you view your files on the fly as well as add photo and video. But if you want to edit any of those files on your phone, you'll need to go elsewhere because the Dropbox app itself doesn't have that functionality. There are programs like Documents to Go that let you edit and manage files on your iPhone, but they tend to be expensive. So enter Drop Text, a 99-cent app for the iPhone, iPod Touch, and iPad that does one thing. It lets you edit and save documents in your Dropbox. Once you've signed in, you of course have access to all the items in your Dropbox. I can click on this text file and voila, start banging out a paper or an outline, or in my case a dig reel script, during a fleeting spare moment when it's just me and my phone. Once you do so, just click Save and it sits peacefully in the cloud forever and ever until you edit it again. You can also create new files which will save in the text format once you do so. You can preview many other types of files like photos and documents in RTF, but you can only edit text files. At least for my purposes though, this was a no-brainer. I do a lot of writing and will normally use the text format anyway just to keep things simple. And as you know, inspiration can strike when you least expect it, so drop text is well worth the buck. If you're a Dropbox user, get it. And if you're not a Dropbox user, where have you been? Okay, now let's talk about the content of that paper. Now obviously you always do the reading for English class. The classics are so enriching. But when it comes time to write that insightful analysis of the grapes of wrath, you can always use a little brush up before class, right? So take a look at CliffNotes for the iPhone, iPod Touch, and iPad. There are many titles available and each are $2. You're probably familiar with CliffNotes, and the apps are just a mobile version of the old school paper copies where you can bone up on your characters, read summaries by chapter, essays, etc. You can also take fast little quizzes on the book to grab talking points in case you feel like dominating the class discussion on the plight of the Jodes. I'm not recommending that you use CliffNotes in place of reading the Grapes of Wrath, obviously, which is really riveting. I'm just letting you know it exists, just so you know it's out there in a pinch. Anyway, download these apps. Istudies, Cram, Drop Text, and CliffNotes are all worthy of your download, taking into consideration your specific course load, of course, and whether you're in high school, college, or beyond. Because you know what? Anything to make it to Thanksgiving break, I am for. Best of luck studying, and let us know if there's anything else you'd like to see us review. You can send us an email at appjudgment@revision3.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or at our homepage at revision3.com/appjudgment. And as always, you can catch me personally on Twitter at Annie Gauss. Thanks for watching.